The third-place Open Final of the 2024 Ultimate Championships between Australia and Great Britain provides an interesting case study to examine the principles underlying zone defense. Notably, the Australian zone defense is able to cause serious problems for Great Britain's offense right out of the gate. In this video, I will examine how the Australian 2-3-2 formation relies on good positioning, awareness, and teamwork to disarm the GB offense. Our first clip comes at the start of the game with Great Britain's very first possession. Off the pull, the Australian D-line immediately sets up in a 2-3-2 formation. The goal of this structure is to prevent easy progress upfield by controlling the space directly in front of the handler. This is achieved by using rows of defenders with tight spacing, discouraging any passes attempting to intersect these defensive lines. The multiple layers of rows provide vertical depth to cover for the ranges of throws. The first row is responsible for initiating the stall count and pressuring the reset option. The middle row of three controls the space directly in front of the handler. They discourage passes into this space by playing in between the handler and any downfield offensive players. Defenders in the final row, which I will hereby call the fullbacks, are responsible for covering the deep space. These players will typically play behind the attacking players to discourage any cuts from going long. As the play evolves, the structure follows the movement of the disc, while also maintaining the same defensive shape. Defenders face the handler at all times, but are constantly checking over their shoulders to assess their surroundings. By having designated positions, defenders know at all times exactly where their teammates are, allowing for efficient tracking of any threats. Through teamwork and intelligent spacing, the Australian defense is able to force the offense to retreat while exerting very little physical effort. When the offense begins to gain ground, defenders that are caught behind the disc turn immediately to get back in front of the disc as quickly as possible. The priority is to slow down the momentum of the offense. Notice that every defender is still facing the handler and each other. This enables the defense to read and react to the same play in a coordinated manner. Great Britain tries to go around the defensive structure by playing out wide and moving the disc quickly. Australia nonetheless continues to maintain good spacing between players, which helps to contain the offense's momentum. Notice again how the players are using their awareness and communication to assess threats and assign responsibilities efficiently. The turnover eventually comes when an Australian defender anticipates the build-up and makes the intercept, leading to the first break for Australia. The next example of this Australian zone comes a bit later in the first period. We can recognize the same 2-3-2 structure as before, with the front pair working together to pressure the handler and the reset option. The second row occupies the space directly in front of the handler, making sure to play in front of the GB offense. The two fullbacks play behind the offense, sharing the width of the field. We can see how this system punishes offenses for stacking their inactive players. The two Great Britain players occupying the same space on the wing are not viable options for the handler. Any direct pass is likely to be intercepted by the Australian winger, who is already reacting to the play, and any pass going over the winger will spend much more time in the air, allowing the fullback, who has full awareness, to react and close the distance. This positional mistake by the GB offense results in an effective 4 versus 3 around the handler, driving the offense backwards. GB tries to adapt to this defense by spreading out and moving the disc quickly, looking to create gaps for the offense to attack with a series of quick give-and-goes. When the disc begins to move quickly, defenders try to interrupt the flow by collapsing around the handler. Due to Australia prioritizing strong central control, Great Britain must commit multiple attacking players to playing behind the handler in order to maintain possession. This lightens the defensive workload since these players don't pose any immediate threat and the defense is happy to see the disc move backwards. The Australian zone succeeds in requiring the GB offense to increase the number of consecutive passes. This also increases the chances of a turnover, either from an intercept or from a mistake by the attacking team. Slowly but surely, Team Great Britain now find themselves in a threatening scoring position. Notice again how every defender is playing in front or level with the disc and facing towards it. This body orientation is essential to enabling the Australian players to anticipate and react quickly to the GB build-up, resulting in yet another interception and subsequent break point.